What terrible secret could force a goddess to cast her own son into the shadows?
Listen closely to the silence, for that is where true magic whispers. The answer is not found in the histories of kings, but in the silent heartbreak of a goddess. Tonight, we do not listen to the light. We listen to the shadow it casts. We listen to Nephthys.
My name is Nephthys. In the tongue of the gods, it means the Lady of the Temple Enclosure, a grand title etched in stone, whispered in hymns, but to me it has always felt like an irony, a gilded cage. For my true domain has never been within the sun-drenched walls of a temple. It has always been on the outside, in the quiet spaces where the light does not reach. My world was defined by the brilliance of another. My sister, Isis, was a symphony of life. She was the laughter that echoed over the waters of the Nile, the golden warmth of the sun on your skin, the promise of the harvest. She was creation itself, a goddess so radiant that even Ra in his solar barge would turn his gaze to admire her. She was life, and I was the shadow she cast. My birthright was the twilight, the sacred darkness of the tomb, the transition between the final breath and the journey beyond. Mortals prayed to me not in celebration, but in sorrow. They sought my comfort in the face of the inevitable, for I was the goddess of mourning, the gentle hand that guided the soul from the warmth of the world into the cold mystery of the duat. My domain was the beauty of the end.
In the great design of Ma'at, the cosmic order, balance is everything. For every light, a shadow. For every creation, a stillness. The first gods understood this. They knew the universe was a tapestry woven of opposites, and so they bound them together, hoping to create a harmony that could withstand eternity. And so I was bound. My husband was Set, my brother, the god of chaos, the lord of the red desert, the fury of the storm. His laughter was the sound of rock grinding against rock. His touch, the searing wind that strips flesh from bone. His heart held only the ambition of a storm that wishes to consume the sky. Ours was not a union of hearts. It was a chain forged by cosmic necessity. I was the cool darkness meant to soothe his fire, the stillness meant to temper his chaos. I was his queen, crowned in the silent halls of his desert palace. But I was just another gilded object in his collection of conquests, a symbol of a balance I could feel cracking with every beat of his furious heart. He ruled the world of the tangible, the brutal, the immediate. He had no patience for the unseen, the whispers of the soul, the silent work I did in the dark. To him, my domain was simply nothing.
But a shadow, no matter how deep, no matter how dutiful, cannot help but yearn for the sun. It is the law of the universe. And in the golden court of Ra, no sun shone with a more gentle, life-giving warmth than Osiris.
Osiris, my other brother, my sister's husband, the god of order, of life, of the green things that grew in the black soil nourished by the Nile. Where Set was the abrasive desert sand, Osiris was the gentle lapping of the river against the reeds.
Where Set was the roaring storm, Osiris was the quiet strength of the mountain that endured it. I would watch him from the corners of the great hall. I would see the way he listened to the prayers of the smallest creatures, the way he would walk through the fields and feel the grain run through his fingers, not as a king surveying his property, but as a gardener tending his beloved children. His power was not in conquest, but in creation, in nurturing. To be near him was to feel a warmth I had never known, a light that did not blind, but illuminated, a peace that settled the eternal disquiet in my soul. I, the goddess of endings, found myself mesmerized by the god of beginnings. And in the lonely, echoing darkness of my own domain, a dangerous thought began to take root. A seed of rebellion against the cosmic order, a desire not to steal his light, not to possess it, but simply to feel it, directly, just once. To know, for a single sacred night, what it felt like to be my sister, to be the sun.
I knew the price. I knew the risk. To disrupt the balance of Ma'at was to invite a cataclysm. To betray my husband was to summon a wrath that could shatter the heavens. But to live an eternity as a shadow, bound to a storm I did not love, was a fate far worse than any punishment. And so I made my choice. Not as a goddess of the pantheon, but as a woman reaching for the only warmth she had ever seen. I would have my moment in the sun, no matter the cost.
A god's desire is a powerful thing. It can reshape landscapes, redirect rivers. My desire? It reshaped me. For a single night, I wove a lie not of magic, but of desperation. They say I tricked him. The scrolls written by the scribes of Thoth, they are so clinical, so simple. They say I wore my sister's face, her scent, a glamour of moonlight and lotus petals to deceive the Lord of life. Perhaps the truth of that night is a river with many currents, and my own memory is clouded by the sheer terror and the exhilarating hope of what I was doing. Or perhaps in his divine heart, Osiris saw not the face of Isis, but the soul of Nephthys. Perhaps he saw a sorrow that resonated with his own infinite empathy, a darkness he wished to soothe, not with pity, but with a moment of genuine light. I will never know. I choose to believe he saw me, the real me.
A moment stolen from the cosmic order is a debt that must always be repaid. The universe, in its perfect balance, does not forget. And a secret born of gods carries the weight of a star. All that matters is what happened in the deep of that sacred night, a moment of stolen light, a single, perfect union that would unravel the very fabric of our world. And from that moment, a new life sparked within me. A son. My son. The first time I felt his presence, it was not a grand celestial event. It was a flutter, a tiny echo in the stillness of my being. And I knew he was not a child of my husband's chaotic storm. He was not born of rage and sand. He was a child of the hidden places, a quiet,
watchful soul conceived in a moment of impossible love. But my joy was a flickering candle in a hurricane. This secret, this beautiful, perfect secret, if revealed, it would mean the death of us all. Set's pride was as vast as the desert he ruled, and his jealousy was a fire that consumed gods. He would not have tolerated such a betrayal. He would have torn the child from my arms. He would have torn the heavens apart.
And so, the goddess of sorrows, she who was born to comfort the grieving, performed her most sorrowful act, an act that would grieve her for 1,000 lifetimes.
I could not keep him. To love him was to condemn him. I waited until the moon was a sliver of bone in the black sky. I wrapped my infant son, my beautiful secret boy, in linens as dark as my own domain. I kissed his brow, a single searing touch that I would have to make last an eternity. And I carried him to the marshes, where the reeds grew thickest, where the Nile's waters whispered secrets of their own.
And for a moment you are there. You feel the crushing, impossible weight of a choice that is not a choice. The warmth of the infant in your arms, his tiny life a fragile star against the cold dread in your heart. You smell the wet earth, the decay of the marsh, the scent of the grave you are digging for your own soul. You force yourself to place him in a basket of reeds, to push him gently into the current. You force yourself to turn away, and every step is a blade in your soul, leaving a part of you behind forever in the whispering reeds.
I abandoned my son to save him. I returned to Set's palace an empty vessel, a queen of shadows in truth as well as title. But a secret of such magnitude cannot be contained. It doesn't need to be spoken to be felt. It poisoned the air between my husband and I. He saw a new distance in my eyes, a sorrow deeper than my domain could explain. He felt the betrayal in the silence, even if he did not know its name. And his rage, once a distant storm rumbling on the horizon, now turned its eye upon the one I had yearned for, upon the one he suspected, in the deepest pit of his divine paranoia, upon Osiris.
Chaos, once bound, had found its reason. Jealousy, the most ancient of poisons, now flowed in Set's veins. He did not seek to rule. He sought to destroy. Not just his brother, but the very concept of the harmony he represented.
I saw it coming. I felt the shift in the winds, the growing darkness in Set's heart. I tried to warn my sister, to send word to Osiris, but how could I explain a danger born of a secret I could not reveal? My silence, the silence meant to protect my son, had now become the cage that trapped my brother. The day he murdered him, the day of the feast, the beautiful, treacherous chest, the day he tore his body into 14 pieces and scattered them across the length and breadth of Egypt, that was the day my stolen moment of light plunged the world into an endless, starless night. And it was all my fault. The sky wept.
The Nile ran thick with the tears of 1,000,000 souls. The death of a god of life is a wound upon creation itself. My sister, Isis, the radiant one, was broken. Her wails of grief were not the cries of a queen, but the raw, animalistic scream of a soul torn in two. Her sorrow was a storm that put my husband's fury to shame. The world had lost its king, but she had lost her heart. I stood beside her, in the ruins of our family, in the wreckage of my own making. And as I watched her, something shifted within me. The crushing weight of my guilt, the gnawing emptiness of my loss. It began to transform. It crystallized, not into sorrow, not into fear, but into purpose.
For a goddess of mourning is not a goddess of despair. She is a master of grief. She does not run from it. She walks through it. She understands its geography, its weight, its power. And in the face of the greatest grief the world had ever known, Nephthys, for the first time, understood the true nature of her own domain. My husband had taken the light from the world. He had celebrated his victory by casting the pieces of Osiris into the darkest corners of creation, into the mouths of crocodiles, into the depths of the river. Confident that what is scattered in darkness is lost forever. But I was the lady of darkness. I was the keeper of hidden things. The skills I had once seen as a curse, a pale imitation of my sister's gifts, were now our only hope. I went to Isis. I took her hand, and for the first time, it was not the shadow seeking the sun. It was two goddesses, two sisters, standing as equals. You are the magic of life, I told her. You can call to his spirit, you can weave the spells to make him whole. But I can find him. She could call to his soul, but I could navigate the silent, unseen paths where his body lay hidden. She could mend what was broken, but I could retrieve the fragments from the abyss. We were two halves of a single, unbending will, the sun and its shadow, working as one.
And so began the great search, a pilgrimage of sorrow and determination. Isis, with her piercing cries of lamentation that called out across the land, and Nephthys, in perfect silence, her divine senses attuned not to life, but to its sacred absence. She followed the echo of what was lost.
We found every piece, every sacred fragment, and as we laid them together, as Isis worked her great magic, I stood guard. I became the protector of the ritual, the keeper of the threshold between worlds. We brought him back. Osiris returned, not to the world of the living, but as the eternal king of the underworld. Order was restored, but my role in the cosmos was forever changed. I was no longer just the consort of chaos. I had become the guardian of the sacred dead, the protector of the passage. I never reclaimed my son. My heart ached for him, an eternal phantom limb. But I knew his destiny was greater than I could provide. My sister Isis, who had found him abandoned in the marshes, raised him as her own, shielding him from the wrath of Set. She gave him a throne. I had only given him a secret. And he grew to become Anubis, the guardian of souls, the master of the final journey,
the one who weighs the heart. He is my greatest sorrow, my greatest secret, and my proudest legacy. He does the work I was born to do, with a justice and a grace I could only ever dream of. My name is Nephthys. I am the goddess of the night, and I have learned that darkness is not an absence of light. It is a sanctuary. It is the quiet, sacred space where life is protected, where secrets are kept, and where even a shattered god can be made whole again. It is not a cage. It is my purpose. It is my light.
The stars fall silent once more. May their echo guide your path.
The story of Nephthys has been heard, but the library of worlds is infinite. Every legend is a doorway, and every story has its guardian.
But the closing of one tome is merely the invitation to open another. Your journey through this realm does not have to end here. If your soul now yearns for the clash of steel and the fury of a final war, the Lorekeeper awaits by his hearth to share the echo of a last battle. Or, if you wish to delve deeper into the mysteries of fate and power, I can reveal the forgotten truth of the heroines who weave the destiny of gods and men.
Choose your path, traveler. And if you wish to ensure that no legend is ever truly forgotten, join our order. Become a guardian of the echoes.